Look, what I think is happening in the world right now is not necessarily like a global conflict between different nation states. It's more civil war within these different nation states. Okay, so if that makes sense. So let's look at the United States. Does Trump really care about Venezuela? Does he really care about Iran? Does he really care about these places? I don't think he does. He's never been in these places. You know, he's a transactional individual. What he cares about, first and foremost, is getting revenge for what happened in 2020. In Trump's mind, he had won the election in 2020, fair and square, but the elite, the Democrats, cheated him, okay? $6 billion were spent on that election by the Democrats against Trump. There's still something called the blue tide, okay? So what happened was that a few days before the election, the first night, it will seem as though Trump had won. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan will go Trump's way. I'm telling you right now, do not panic. Stay calm. Why? Because there are these mail-in ballots, and there are millions of them, but they will take time to come in. And in 2 weeks' time, I guarantee you there'll be a blue wave, and it will overturn the results in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. That's what he said. Again, you can Google this. It's online. It's still there, okay, on YouTube. How did he know this? How could he possibly have known this? And why would he go on Jimmy Kimmel and tell the world this, right? So I mean, like, it was suspicious what happened, right? But so I'm not saying that the election was stolen. Like I don't want to get you sued, okay? But in Trump's mind, it was stolen. But not only that, right? What happened after the election, of course, was January 6th, and we have a lot of evidence. And Tucker Carlson has reported this very well, that was staged, that there was deep state involvement in orchestrating these riots, and they called it a sedition afterwards. And the entire point of that was, of course, to make Trump ineligible for re-election ever again. Okay, they wanted to eliminate the threat of Trump. And then what happened afterwards, of course, is when Trump was out of office, they had the Mar-a-Lago raids where they tried to put him in prison. There was all these lawsuits against Trump, and he lost billions of dollars in these lawsuits. There was a tax against his family business. I mean, they really tried to destroy him. And so that forced Trump back into the political arena, and he won in 2024. I guarantee you, like after what happened in 2020, his entire concern, his entire administration is getting back at the Democrats for what happened, destroying the deep state, okay? Now, you can't take on the deep state directly. That's not how Washington, D.C. works. But you take the deep state, you attack the deep state in the margins, okay? And what are the margins? Well, Venezuela is a margin, right? So, last August, he started to deploy the American Navy to the Caribbean. And he said that, I'm doing this to stop narco trafficking, okay? And everyone's like, no, that's complete nonsense. Why are you doing this? Okay, but let's take him at his word. Why would he do that? And the answer is the CIA, the deep state, a lot of the financing actually comes from narco trafficking. The CIA is notorious for being the world's greatest drug trafficker. Okay, so go back to the Iran-Contra scandal, right? Also, remember, Afghanistan. Before the Americans, the Taliban already wiped out the opium trade in Afghanistan. The Americans go back in, and what's happening? American soldiers are protecting poppy fields. And where's this opium going? Yeah. It's going to the Sacker family in the United States so that they can produce an opiate crisis in the United States, which kills thousands of average Americans, and so you can make a legitimate case that Trump really wanted to go after narco trafficking because he knew that was a major source of illicit funds for the deep state. And so he wanted to undermine the deep state. You have Trump now building up his, basically secret police, the ICE, right? Right. So I think it's better to view the world as an expression of the civil war going on in the United States rather than really a war among nations.